say can agree with that.
Hey, definitely. I love the Beatles.
Yes. Now, you're from Great Britain, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Well, you want to tell us a little bit about that real quick?
I come from a small town called Tottenham. If you're a soccer fan, then you probably know the Tottenham Hotspurs. That's my hometown team. It's like a small town in the north of London. I actually came into America on a football scholarship, which gave me the opportunity to play the sport here in America, and then also, get some education and, meet some great people.
Now, it just occurred to me that when you said football earlier, you probably meant soccer.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, there we go. Of course, here in the U.S., we call it soccer because, well, we're weird like
I
that.
say we're wrong, but that's okay.
It's all good. But, fun fact, I used to live in the U.K. I lived in Esher.
Okay, well, I know exactly where it is.
Yeah, in Surrey. Yeah, it's a nice little small town, very quaint, very lovely. But, of course, Texas is my home at the end of the day. Of course, you're listening to Lions After Dark here on your station, 88.9 KETR. I'm Kelly Fulton.
I'm Sydney Sofa.
And we have a guest in the studio, Mr. Jason Osei. He's here to talk to us about fitness and getting healthier. And I think this time we're going to cover some of the misconceptions about getting healthy.
All right, well, in terms of misconceptions, I think the one thing that is the biggest misconception is that people feel like, if they are in the gym, for like 3 hours a day, pretty much like 8 days a week, that they're going to, necessarily get fitter. Your body will go through some changes, but I don't necessarily think it'll make you fitter. I think, that's a very big misconception because if anything, you're actually breaking your body down more than you're actually assisting it. So, rest days, even though it might feel like, to some people that you're not really getting anything done, your body's actually doing stuff, in terms of it's actually, repairing tissues, it's using all those nutrients to actually, reinforce your body and get you stronger. So that's why sometimes you feel after maybe 1 or 2 days of rest, you come back and you feel like Superman or Superwoman in certain cases, because your body's actually had the time to, repair itself. And it's kind of like when you have a car, if it's damaged, you don't want to keep on driving it because the more you keep on driving it, the more damage it's going to get. But you take it to the shop and you have it fixed, it comes out brand new, you get more usage out of it. And I think that's one of the biggest misconceptions to try and address. Another misconception is people think that, by starving themselves or by going on these fad diets that they're actually going to, go through, some drastic changes. Starving yourself and fad diets do make you go through drastic changes, but they're not exactly healthy changes. One of the biggest things about health is balance, and that's the same thing with anything. Is you can have certain foods. You don't have to actually, try and eliminate, everything out of your life, but it's just have it in moderation. So where if you have candy every day, you might want to just try and have it like maybe 2 days a week, try and do those little changes right there. We can keep this. You can keep your favorite foods, but just don't try and have them on a regular basis. And in terms of kind of supplement diet, just it's all about substitution. So certain foods you can substitute for other things. I would always say fruit and veg is always good to eat, simply because it helps with your water intake. Water is a big proponent. I feel like everybody, regardless if you're going to be active exercising or not, you should be drinking water anyway, because that's what most of your body's made up of. And it's got great health benefits in terms of, clearing out your system, kind of making you feel fresher and replenishing, especially like in hot states like Texas where, water is key because it gets humid and you start sweating out a lot. That's, I think, one of the biggest things, if anything, water intake. And fruits and veg can help with that. And I'd say you can still have like, fries and a burger, but just don't have them every day, just kind of like, limit yourself to, certain days and then, kind of have balance for the rest of the week,
Yeah, it's good that you brought up the thing about water, because I'm sure, as you know, here in Texas, it's a little bit hotter than it is the rest of the world. I'm sure that you've had a great time getting acclimated to that.
Oh, indeed.
Yeah, well, we've actually had cases of high school football players and even college football players getting so dehydrated that they have to go to the hospital. And I remember a couple years ago, there were kids dying from practicing out in the sun because they just weren't drinking enough water.
Yeah, with water, I feel there is no such thing in terms of, especially being in Texas and being an athlete, as being too hydrated. You should be having 2 to 3 gallons of water a day. And that's and when I say that, it's not have water when you're exercising, because at that point it's probably too late, because you're actually trying, the water you're drinking then while exercising is actually trying to replenish what you're losing at the time. So you want to actually be going to practice like probably having like, maybe about 2 or 3 big glasses of water, like, maybe a liter or so beforehand, to actually, kind of get yourself ahead of the game. So then when you're actually exercising and so forth, you're not actually losing too much. So, because, after that, you're really just trying to restore what you've lost. So it's almost like, trying to think of an analogy here. So it's like, with a store, for example, you can sell a lot of merchandise. But, if you sell what you have in the store, you're going to be struggling to sell stuff the next day or even at the time. So you want to have, like, a lot of stock, so that when you run out of stock, you can just literally replenish your stores easily. So, like, I run out of water, I've got more water there to replace it. And I think, in terms of being an athlete, that should be crucial. Hydration should be on the top of the priority list, and second, probably sleep.
Okay, yeah, good stuff that we're learning here on Lions After Dark. Yeah, I'm one of those people that I drink water as I work out, but I guess now I just need to aqua load before I go work out, and then aqua load afterwards as well.
Yeah, like, as I said again, especially in hot states like Texas, you might be going through the day thinking that you're fine, but as I say, you don't want to be behind a looking glass. You don't want to take risks. You always want to try and be ahead of the game. And as I said, like, in terms of anything safety, it's the same thing with working out and being fit. You don't want to ever be you can never be too careful. Your safety is the main thing. Yeah, you want to go through gains, and you want to get these goals and so forth, and you want to work hard. But at the same time, safety is your main thing, because you need to have a body to work out, as opposed to trying to kill it, to try and get gains,
All right, Jason Osei here in the KETR studios, talking to us about misconceptions of health and how important it is to drink water. If you take away anything from the show tonight, drink water. All right, Jason, thank you so much for being on with us tonight.
Hey, no, thank you so much for having me.
All right, you're listening to Lions After Dark here on your station 88.9 KETR. Once again, I'm Kelly Fulton.
And I'm Sydney Sofa.
And this just about wraps up our first hour of Lions After Dark, but fear not, for we have more coming your way. We're going to continue our LGBT Pride playlist, and this one was picked by Sydney Sofa. You want to introduce this one, Sid?